Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo. Tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Pooba, Senator, Grinder, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some rum, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 86th official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a Cuban cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss the aging potential of Upmann cigars to reach excellence. We revisit a high-proof rum pairing from episode 6, and we debate whether cigars should be considered an investment, all among a variety of other things for the next 90 minutes. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Foursquare Rum Exceptional Cask Selection 2010 with the H. Upmann Connoisseur A. An aged Robusto Extra tonight on the pod from H. Upmann. It's the Connoisseur A, a beautiful cigar out of a beautiful box from Pooba. We are lubbing tonight, boys.
Oh, yeah.
We are lubbing.
With a second time on the podcast, we are lubbing. This is Lub. What was the box code, Pooba? It was Lub
15.
15.
July.
Lub July 15. So a little bit later than the Upmann 2s we did, which was one of the best cigars we've ever done on the podcast. We have a soft spot in our heart for H. Upmann, and hopefully tonight will be no exception.
Honestly, I'm very happy we're doing this tonight.
Yep, it's a 52 by 5.5. The factory size is called the Genios.
The other famous Genios is the Cohiba, which is, I think, in the Maduro line, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Only Maduro.
Yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
Well, let me tell you something. This is a beautiful cigar.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And it smells incredible.
It does.
You know, Upmann really benefits from time, as we've discussed ad nauseum on the podcast.
Yep.
And I can't wait to smoke it, boys. So let's cut this thing.
Yeah.
See, we're getting on the cold draw on the wrapper of this beautiful 8-year aged cigar. Can't wait.
Very mild on the cold draw.
Really nice, though. So we're going to go through the entire Connoisseur line from H. Upmann, starting with the Connoisseur A tonight.
Honestly, something about the Upmann line for me, it's got this air of exclusivity. It's in special markup.
It is
for me, yeah.
And listen, given our experience, certainly with the cigars we've had, and then the other cigars that we haven't reviewed yet, like the Sir Winston. I mean, it's just a phenomenal brand out of Cuba.
It's awesome.
To me, right in line with Partagas as far as
100%.
It's excellent.
100%.
Yeah, and when you look at the wrapper, I don't know. Tell me what you guys are seeing. This is the construction looks really good.
It does. Senator, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the construction's it's good. The wrapper's a little toothy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But otherwise it's a beautiful cigar.
All right, boys, let's light this thing. The H. Upmann Connoisseur A. Again, it's a Robusto Extra 52 ring gauge by 5.5 inches long. Lub 15, 8-year-old cigar tonight.
As we're lighting this, I've only had, so my first Connie A was either from Pooba or from Rooster. And I fell in love with the cigar ever since. I've never, ever had a bad Connie A. And I think you all know that I love the cigar.
Yeah. I've had hit or miss boxes. I think they just needed time. I'm really excited. This is definitely the oldest that I've smoked.
Yeah.
By a lot. So I'm really looking forward to it tonight.
Anything out of 2014, 2015.
Yep. Excellent.
They're great.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is excellent.
That is wonderful on the light.
This is excellent.
There's that twang. I got a twang right off the. I haven't had one of these, so just for context, I haven't had one of these. I smoked the box down, but I hadn't. I probably haven't smoked because I got down to like the last 8, which I've got here tonight. I probably haven't smoked one in 2 years. So it's been a while. I've been kind of saving them.
So you hit the nail on the head. The twang is like the dominant first note.
Yeah.
It's like that got twang, like
Yeah. Salty, minerality.
There's a little bit of a creaminess to it. I wouldn't say it's super creamy, but it's there, rounding it out.
I get
agree.
more of a graham cracker than a creamy on this one.
Yeah, I would agree.
A little
Yeah.
doughy, maybe.
Yeah, it's same. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really nice. You know, I love the H. Upmann bands on these. It it incorporates. It's a single band.
How's the spelling on that?
So it's spelled different ways on the ribbon, and it's spelled different ways
on the band.
and it's spelled incorrectly. That notwithstanding, this was released in 2013 as it's essentially a pseudo LCDH release without the LCDH band, extra band on it. That's the way it was introduced, at least. And then over time, what you want to call that is whatever you want to call that.
I
But
feel like all
that's
the
how-
LCDHs just end up in the regular production kind of, role anyway.
Yeah,
after
like,
time.
like right, like the original press release around it in 2013 when it came out. It's like it's an exclusive. It's distributed essentially on paper to LCDHs and other exclusive Habanos retailers. You know,
I love that the band incorporates it. So, like I said, it's a single band, but it incorporates a second layer of the classic H. Upmann band, which has Connoisseur A on it. But if you take that bottom third off, it's just the classic H. Upmann band that you'd find on a Sir Winston or an an Upmann 2. Very classic branding.
Yep.
You find on these cigars.
Gold, red, and white.
Yeah. This is a really delicious cigar,
It's
boys.
excellent.
I'm glad we're doing this because I remember early on when I met Puba, and once Puba took the real deep dive down the rabbit hole of Cuban cigars, this was easily his favorite cigar for a significant period of time. I mean, I like singularly associate the Kanye with Puba. And I think he had given me one that I loved. It was really good. And then I had bought a box myself that was relatively young. And what I quickly realized the hard way is that these just really need time.
it's
Yeah.
a
And
fact.
so
It's
I
just a
haven't
fact.
had a good Kanye I've enjoyed in years, probably since whenever you gave me the first one. So this is a treat. This is what I remember. This is great.
Yeah.
And if you remember, you and I bought boxes, I think in 2020,
Yeah, that sounds
late
right.
2020, and they were 2019 boxes or 2018 boxes. And you and I both had really mediocre experiences with those
Yeah.
boxes.
Have you guys had a Kanye out of that box yet since you've aged them?
I haven't reached for it in a long time.
I had one maybe last year and it was better, but I still didn't really love it.
I've got
Yeah.
a box of 2020s at home. I've had 5 of them out of that box. And honestly, I'm a big, big, big fan of this cigar. And I think you all know that because I talk about it a lot. I do love this stick.
So, yeah, to appreciate what you're saying.
Yeah.
These need, like, it's a fact, no joke, need time. I think that these are at the time that is a pretty good time to smoke them. They need time to come into their own. It's a more, as you can see, it's a more tightly packed cigar than maybe some of the other cigars of this similar ring gauge.
Yep.
But the draw isn't. The draw is good,
It's excellent.
but this is a sit.
Yeah.
It's going to be a sit. It's going to be a little bit longer of a smoke, but
Which
I
hon-
really like them. You know,
Which honestly is a little surprising. And the only reason I kind of expected when I bought a younger box that I'd be able to smoke it with just a few years of age on it, because this is not a Ligero heavy cigar.
No.
It's not strong. I mean, this starts mild and probably builds to medium. And usually it's the case that those need less time. So I'm not sure what it is about it, but at least having this, it's worth the wait.
it's worth the wait.
Has anyone retrohaled yet?
That's what I was just gonna say. The
Yeah,
same damn
It's
thing.
amazing.
Bro?
So I'm getting this great yin and yang because I get the graham cracker that you mentioned.
Yeah.
When I don't retrohale, but when I retrohale, I get tons of baking spice.
Oh,
like a
that's
very
exactly where I was going to go.
very pleasant.
All
baking
dessert notes on the retro, dude.
It's Upmann. Shocking.
What the fuck?
You know,
It's why we paired a rum with it tonight, which we'll get to. But yes,
I'll add a third leg on what you guys are saying with the retrohale. The smell with the burn line to me enhances when I draw the cigar.
Absolutely.
It actually enhances it for me.
I agree
which
with
we
you.
talk about sometimes, but this is one of those that it's really doing it.
Yeah, the aroma at the burn line, it's like a cookie factory. We've said
intoxicating,
about
man.
some, like it's amazing.
Actually, it's funny. We're right near the former Nabisco
That's
factory,
right.
which is a big to
That
do right
they're
now.
taking down
So
now.
so
yeah.
so this is one of, just having experience with these, like this is one of those cigars that you're gonna want to smoke it really, really fast.
You can't.
You can't.
Yeah.
You-
The
you-
temptation. The temptation.
The
to go through it.
temptation,
Yeah.
because like what you're like, it's a little bit more tightly packed than maybe you'd get like an E2, but the draw is great. It's
a chill and sit.
a chill and sig. It's a chill and sig. You got to really chill with it. Like you want, because you're gonna want more of it if you heat it up.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
So this seriously reminds me.
It's
so,
really like refined and kind of sophisticated. This is the Connie A that I love, that a couple of the admins on our website love, on our group love. Like
Yep.
this is kind of, and this is, by the way, also just for the record, for the list. So it's a little bit of a unicorn. This is an H&F box too, which is
Hunters and Frankow.
Hunters and Frankow, which has a connection that goes back to Upmann to 1844. I mean, it's like an insane.
So for the listener, Hunters and Frankow is the exclusive distributor of Habanos in the United Kingdom,
Right.
and they serve all of the retailers there. And sometimes when you get a box that's come from one of those retailers, it has a green square sticker on the box that they add after they inspect it, which has its own serial number on it. And that's what Puba's referencing. It's an H&F Lub 15 box out of the UK.
That's correct. And they actually, just historically, Upmann has a relationship with Frankow going back to the late 19th century. I mean, it's like it goes back that far. So you're talking, this was founded in, H. Upmann was founded in 1844. And they eventually partnered up with Frankow. And so they had that's how far it goes back, is what I'm saying. So, and it's one of the most historic, marcas in history
Yeah, ever.
ever.
Has anyone had the Connoisseur B? Because I've never had that.
We're having that actually. That's going to be the next in the line
Is that right?
of Connie's. Yeah, that's lined up. We're
Can't
going to have
wait.
that
Can't
probably
wait.
in a couple months.
Yeah.
We're going to do all four, but the B is next.
And the 1 and 2, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Connie 1 is actually the first in the Connoisseur line that was released. It was released, I think, about 10 years before
Oh,
this
really?
one. They've just added more in the line. And I think the Connie 2 now is an actual LCDH release, but we'll do that one. At
Yes,
the
it is.
last
It
part.
has a band
It
on
has
it,
a
which
second
is
band.
crazy
Yeah.
because it's the same thing. But I mean, it's not the same thing, but I mean, it's an LCDH. So
What's the? Why are they spelling it wrong?
No,
well, they're spelling it wrong because they can. I mean, it's just like the stubbornness of it all.
Yeah. And we don't care.
and I think they just
Really?
they must have just printed the bands like at one point and just have a surplus of misspelled bands.
What a major production fuck up.
I just hope they know they've misspelled
You should
it.
file
Probably
a complaint.
Probably not. But wow, this is a delicious cigar.
It really is.
You know what? I find even for its age, I find it to be very, very subtle compared to, an H. Upmann number 2 or a Sir Winston. It's requiring a slow smoke and it's just not as oomphy as some of the others in this line.
But there's a sophistication in the subtlety of this cigar.
100%.
And that cannot be denied. You can't deny the sophistication of that.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
I get some creaminess too.
Absolutely.
Creamy and
Yeah.
cedar notes
Oh, yeah.
on the cigar.
And try retro, you'll get the dessert spice.
Yeah,
all,
I
all
don't
day
know how
long.
to do that.
I'll show you.
like for me, this is like, it makes me smile because it's like an exemplification of Upmann. And you guys know how much I love Upmann. You guys love Upmann too.
Yeah,
it's
we do.
But it makes me smile. It makes me happy because I love these kind of flavors.
Mhm.
And it's kind of just, it's delivering that DNA in just a different way.
When we all drew straws all those years ago about which rabbit hole to go down, you drew the H. Upmann straw. because you have gone head first, no questions asked, into H. Upmann.
But he was heavy into Connie A.
Oh, he loves a Connie
yeah.
A.
I mean, it was a
was
running
very
joke, honestly,
good.
for a while. We're like, the Cartier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poopa, what are you smoking today? The Cartier.
I like it. And it's giving, it's cool. It's giving off that, when you look at the ash compared to some of the other cigars that are younger, it gives it's that kind of black and
It's a dark
darker
gray.
ash,
Yeah.
right? That says,
But it's really holding on
old
nice.
age,
I mean,
but
the
it's holding on
construction's
nice. Oh, but
fantastic.
look at yours. Yeah,
Oh,
yours is
Rooster's
nice.
got a white ash.
Oh, he does.
Yours is a
Yeah.
little bit
It's a lot.
whiter. What's yours look like?
Kind of in the middle.
Kind of in yours is kind of in the middle, but yeah.
So I misspoke, by the way. The Connie B has the second band on it, not the Connie 2. That was a misspoke. So we're going to do them all.
Yeah, we should do them all. We should try them because those are good cigars within the H. Upmann line that we should try. This cigar does need time. Like, it's a fact. It needs time. Like the Upmann 2, it needs time.
And the Sir Winston.
And the Sir Winston needs time. It's just the way they're built, but
All of them. I mean, honestly, that's probably my only knock on the Upmann line is that the vast majority of them need time.
The only
except for
outlier
the
is the
half
half
Corona.
Corona.
my patience is not,
Yeah.
very long.
Honestly, the half Corona you can smoke the moment you get that tin.
That's the exception. That's right.
100%. And they're
Yeah.
also very,
they're very good, but not a premium
no,
cigar.
definitely not.
I think the Upmann 46,
Yeah, the
Yes.
Magnum
Mag
46.
46.
Mac 46, you can smoke them.
That's true.
you know,
That's
another
fairly,
exception.
fairly
True.
young.
But like it delivers a way different experience.
Sure.
This is
Sure.
more. This is more in line to me with classic Upmann DNA
Well, it's,
than anything in the Magnum line.
it's Cuban DNA.
Yeah, well,
really.
it's also blended right next to some of the other cigars that we've mentioned. I mean, it's certainly the baking spice things.
Mhm.
Some of that is absent or is overpowered by other things in the Magnum line. But to me, this is right there with the Upmann 2 and the
Yeah.
and the Winston.
And we are getting a treat tonight. This is an 8-year-old cigar.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And tonight when we were talking about this, I really wanted to pair, as exemplified in the text, I wanted to pair rum with this.
It works great.
I wanted to
It's a
pair
classic
rum, I
Cuban
wanted to
pairing.
pair rum with this because of just the kind of the because it's a classic kind of pairing, and I
Yeah.
think that the dessert flavors of a rum kind of pair up well with
I
the
know
dessert
eventually
flavors of an
eventually
Upmann.
we'll get to the spirit, but it really works fantastic. Yeah.
So, did you ever see? Of course, you've seen it when a blender has that collection of cigars that he or she is kind of, ingesting. they get kind of into it. They like dive headfirst into the aroma, and they lightly draw on it, and then they have like these episodic bursts of heavy draws, and they just kind of envelop the room. That's what I want to do when I smoke this cigar, because there's so much going on that I like every time I'm drawing, I'm getting a new flavor note that I just can't put my hands on, and I've never had this cigar, and the complexity on it is tremendous.
I think with age, I think this is a very, very unique cigar. And despite what I said about it having a lot of DNA similar to the other Upmann cigars that we talked about, this very much stands on its own for me.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's actually gotten better after the first half an inch or an inch.
Yeah.
I'm amazed because your ash is actually truly white,
It's
and then I'm
bright
looking
white.
at mine, and it's
Really
it's
dark. Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. You're the outlier tonight, Rooster.
So Pooba mentioned the rum. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So we did this specific Foursquare exceptional cask
Yeah.
rum.
Early in our recording
I mean,
career.
very early. It's
Yeah.
a single blended rum. They call it the exceptional cask selection. They release it once a year. It's a rum out of Barbados. So the one that we did probably a year and a half ago, very early on, was from 2009, and this is the 2010 release of that rum. And what's beautiful about it is they add nothing. Very similar to when we talk about tequilas or other spirits that are completely unadulterated. This spirit has nothing added, no sugar, no color, no additives at all. the single barrel rum out of Barbados.
Yeah, it is, and it's a distillery that's run by Richard Seal, and he's a fourth generation distiller of the R.L. Seal and Company family. So he has these kind of unique approaches to rum blending and maturation, and he kind of releases these batches in these small batches when they've reached what he feels like is exceptional quality, and they're just available for a limited time in these cask selections. So on these, there's individual numbering on these bottles, and they do some unique things. So bottom line is he's a little bit of, I wouldn't say an aristocrat, but it's generational. In Barbados, the farm that he has the distillery on, where they harvest the sugarcane, is a farm that's been in their family for multiple generations. There were starts and stops in terms of what they were doing in terms of making rum. It was a sugarcane farm for a long time. And one of the couple of the unique things they do in terms of production, they use a distiller's yeast that no one else uses from South Africa, and they use this two-step process where they use a temperature-controlled process used by computers. So they kind of make like old school. They mix technology with traditional distilling techniques, and then they use these molasses that are imported from Guyana that are added. It's so he does.
That's where I get all my molasses is guana.
Is Guyana? Yeah,
Guyana.
No, exactly.
Guana.
So
You're nailing the pronunciation.
Guyana.
I have my assistant handle it.
Anyway, they blend their rums before and after the aging with all the casks, and they age everything in American white oak ex-bourbon whiskey casks.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Hold on one second. Why are the Americans so good at making
Make good barrels.
these barrels? Why
Yeah.
are we so good at it?
We just have a lot of
We have the
we have a lot of
forest.
forests.
It's a forest.
It's
It's
the
not
trees.
just making it though. It's more than that. They're using ex-bourbon barrels. So
That's right.
what's most important is that it previously aged bourbon.
Right.
So let me ask this. Why are bourbon barrels so crucial to so many distillation aging
It's a
processes
great question.
around the world? I
Great
don't,
question.
it's shocking to
Yeah.
me.
The reason why the bourbon barrel came into existence, we've talked about this in the past, is that there was a time, at least in the Scotch tradition, where they didn't use American oak, but they during the wartime they needed to import, basically import the wood to make that happen, because they just didn't have enough forest in Scotland.
Mhm.
And it was also a time of war, and they used their resources for other things. So they began, importing formerly, because the Americans were just making these things and then dumping them. They were just trashing them, and then they, the Scottish are very ingenuous. They decided to buy them up. I think I'm hypothesizing here. It might just be a trend, like a traditional trend that kind of came to fruition from the success that the Scotch industry had. That is completely hypothesis, but it's it begs the question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's that, but also just in terms of why you would want to impart the flavor from a bourbon barrel, a sherry barrel, all these things. I mean, for dark spirits,
The color.
you're looking for something
flavor.
that like previously aged a sweet, rich spirit. And that's bourbon, that's sherry and other things. And that's why they pursue those. And we
Yeah.
produce so much bourbon
Yeah.
that there's a ton of those to go around in a
Mhm.
way that like, sherry barrels are so hard to find. Like
Yeah.
there's not nearly as much sherry produced as bourbon, and that's why they're rare.
And
That-
those
yeah,
barrels are coveted
that's
worldwide.
Totally. So Richard Seal and his family, so they do cask selections aged in a variety of different barrels: sherry, port, Madeira, and Zinfandel casks.
That's
and
Senator's favorite kind of wine, Zinfandel.
Oh no.
Hard pass.
I hear you, but maybe with the rum it's good. I don't know.
No, for the rum it would work.
Yeah.
But the wine, just
The
dump
wine.
it out.
Yeah, dump it out.
I like Zinfandel.
But there's no, but to your point, there's no color, no sugar, no additives or filtration in these rums. And I think also
That's a lizard-approved process,
it's
boys.
a lizard-approved process. And also, what's really cool too is that the family has been making rum since 1820.
That's incredible.
There have been
That's pretty
starts and
amazing.
stops,
That's
But that's amazing.
but
though.
Upmann was started in 1844. So this is how. So I just thought that
That's cool.
It's a perfect
this
alignment.
is kind of this is historic. Both these products are from the Caribbean,
Yeah,
and
they're almost 200 years old.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I just
That's
thought
incredible.
that's pretty incredible. And
The thing I like on the Foursquare, I don't know if you get this, especially for maybe guys that don't drink as much rum, but on the finish, do you notice there's this flavor note that is probably very hard to place?
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb. You're gonna laugh at me, but it's almost like a bubblegum type of a sweetness to me. It's a beautiful, very, very pleasant finish for me.
I'm not able to call it out, so go for it.
But do you notice there's something there?
Yeah, at the very
That's-
end.
That's that funk.
It's a-
It's very big. So if you look up like funk in rum, I'm not kidding. Like I know this sounds ridiculous. Jamaican rums are big. Barbados is big with this. And Foursquare, it's just on the finish. You get like you
Mhm.
taste the sugar cane, like the
Yeah.
traditional rum notes, and then on the finish, there's just this note that you're never able to place. That they just call this funk that from the distilling process that some use, like Foursquare, like Appleton Estate, like certain other distillers, and it just imparts that you just know it when you taste it. It's like we talk about twang in a Cuban
Well,
cigar.
I was about to
gonna
go
say,
there.
it's
That's exactly
just-
where I was gonna go.
It's just like that.
We
With
might need
this-
a new T-shirt.
Well, with this particular cigar,
Got funk.
the twang that you're getting on this cigar pairs beautifully with that funk that you're mentioning in the spirit. It's a great pairing. Great pairing.
It's like sweet but earthy.
Yeah.
It's this weird, complex flavor.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah, it's really why, like I was like on the text, I was like, we're like, okay, we're gonna do the Connier, and I knew I had this box, and I knew that, you know what I mean. And I'm like, we got to do
Foursquare.
a rum. We got to do a really
A
good,
good rum.
rum with this because
I'm glad we
deserves
found it, by the way, because this is
Agreed.
very hard to find.
It's hard to find.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right, so let me ask you a question. So for the guys who, in the room, I think all of us have had a lot of Cuban rum, and we did a bunch of them on the podcast
Oh, yeah.
recently.
Which, by the way, has no funk. Very
No
different
funk.
style.
I
It's
was going to
different.
say, okay.
It is different.
All right,
He's
so
right.
now for the listener out there who maybe hasn't tried one or the other, or neither of them, or both, how would you kind of compare and contrast what the Cubans are doing with Havana, with Santiago, some of the different rums they put out, with a rum like an artisanal rum like this that also has no additives? How would you
Well,
compare them?
I think Senator hit it on the head. That funk doesn't exist on the Cuban rum, but also I've never put a chip of ice in any of the Cuban rums that we've ever had. The Santiago,
Yeah.
the Havana, any of the Havana clubs, no ice needed ever.
So this is a very astute observation. Like there's a very big difference, and for some reason I can't tell you exactly why. Obviously, someone made these decisions, but Cuban rum versus really any of the other islands in the Caribbean, in the sense that, like Bam said, with Cuban rum, any good Cuban rum, you'll almost never need ice. It's like 40% max. They don't make overproof rum in Cuba. It's very smooth, very straightforward, I would argue. A lot of the other islands, I think, experiment a little bit more. They're very happy to make overproof rum. I think the flavor profile can be more complex. And so it kind of depends on what you're in the mood for, or, what suits the occasion.
Yeah.
But it's very distinct. Like truly, Cuba's an outlier among
It's
all
true.
the rest of the Caribbean islands in terms of the flavor profile that you get.
Now
in rum and
between the
experience.
Santiago and the Havana Club, I get more caramel in the Santiago, or in the Havana Club. For me, it's vanilla all day long.
But this is super caramel.
Oh, dude, this is excellent, and I've had this.
This is
without-
like a Carmelo.
So here's the thing. I've
Like that-
had.
I haven't
this-
had a
what's that
Carmelo
thing-
in a
what's that
long
thing
time, by the
called?
way.
Caramel.
Am I wrong?
No, Carmelo's a
It's a-
thing.
yeah.
It's a
I
thing.
know.
It's a
Yeah.
candy bar, right?
It's a
Yeah,
Rolo.
The Rolo.
A
The
Rolo.
Rolo. The Rolo. That's it. That roll. By
So,
the way, for the listener, the rum that we're drinking tonight is 60%, 120 proof rum. So,
But guys, with a
So
little
if we
bit,
don't if we don't make it through the episode, you'll know why.
but with a little bit of ice, how great is it?
it's fantastic.
excellent.
Puba, it's fantastic.
I don't like it.
Oh,
Oh,
with
wow.
really?
You don't
my
like it with
God.
ice?
You got to
you're
turn his
crazy.
mic off now.
I know.
You're
We may have to
crazy.
skip over
You
him
don't
when
like
rating
it.
time.
So coming back, I don't know what funk is in rum, so I can't put my finger on that. I don't taste, whatever funk means. I don't taste funk. It's definitely, it's a little overproof for me. And
well,
and
did
that-
you
Just
put
add more
ice in it?
I put tons of ice in this thing.
So I've had the Foursquare without ice. It takes a little while for it to settle in, but once it settles in without the ice, it is really, truly, it's an excellent experience, but it's different than the Cuban rums that we've had, where right off the bat, it's fantastic and smooth.
Wow. This is a good spirit.
Get the
guys.
funk
It's
outta
fucking
here.
awesome, dude. It's awesome.
Am I
You're not-
crazy or
you're
is
not.
I
this
think
a
it's phenomenal.
very
I love-
I mean, it's really good.
I don't drink this much outside of the pod.
Mm.
I don't drink this much with cigars. I find myself going to this when I just want to have something sweet or a rum, or especially around the holidays.
I was about to say
love,
that. Yeah.
I
yeah.
love this rum around the holidays.
I think my aversion also may stem from my don't call it preconceived. It's just my experience drinking rum, where I want that smooth, easy drink that is not going to light my mouth on fire, and that's a different experience from what I have right now.
I think you got to put some rocks in it. And
I have.
drink
I
it.
just
add
told
more.
you. I have
Add
so
more.
many rocks in here.
Would you
It's
say-
not-
But if it's still too strong, obviously not enough. So just add a little
It's
more.
true. It's
how
true.
many ice cubes did I put in this
A
thing?
pretty good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a lightweight. It's okay.
I mean, you have two options: either add
Maybe-
more ice, or he's right. You're a light. I mean, just add
I'm a
more ice.
lightweight. Sure, I'm happy to admit it.
I love you.
But that doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just how I experience it.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
Grinder drinks a lot of rum.
Or don't.
This is so for me, I think this rum is like I love it. I mean, I think it's fantastic.
The rum-
It's
this
a
I love-
fantastic- with the
I love the
cigar.
funk, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that thing that's there at the end, like right at the end of the finish, I find it to be very intriguing and interesting.
I agree.
And I think, pairing it with this cigar, which is not, to me, like that Upmann II Sir Winston, which is very, very, it has a lot of oomph, not in strength, but in flavor. There's just a lot there.
wow.
This is a subtle, delicious, wonderfully aged cigar. And I think the rum is pairing wonderfully with it.
Yeah, the Upmann 2 has more body,
Yeah.
where this has, and they both have baking spice, but this guy on the retrohale, because it's 8 years old, the baking spice is so pronounced because of the age. It pairs beautifully with the Foursquare.
I think this is a perfect pairing.
Absolutely, 100%.
But this cigar is phenomenal.
It is, dude.
I love the cigar,
Bro.
Sonny.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Say that again.
I love the cigar Rooster. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, it's a spectacular cigar.
I love it. I love it for what it is.
I
It's-
agree.
I love it.
That there's a lot of stuff going on here for me, and that's kind of what I'm enjoying. I think I mentioned before. I'm just there's new elements that I'm tasting every time I take a draw.
There's a floral element to it that I think
Yeah.
I think that the Upmann 2 doesn't have. That gives it a little bit, that differentiates it. So you're getting these baking spices, but you blow it through your nose and you get a little bit of that floral. You get a little bit of that depth. There's that depth there. And that's to me, this smoke, this
it's-
particular box exemplifies what I think this Connoisseur A is, and how it differentiates itself from, let's say, the a similar smoke from the same time period and same factory as the two. It's a little more floral.
Mhm.
It's getting better and better.
It
getting
is.
better and better.
It's as it heats up,
It's building.
it's
Yeah.
building as it heats up, but in a really pleasant
It really.
way. And there's no surprises here. It's really just bringing its best.
It's we're at the halfway mark for me. It's acting and performing and tasting like a quintessential Cuban.
Yeah.
Really.
It tastes very Cuban, to me.
Right?
And that's why it goes good with the rum.
Big time. Big time.
So let me ask you guys a question. I think that this is very pertinent given the fact that we're smoking 8-year-old cigars tonight. So I think that this is going to be a controversial topic tonight, which is, of course, why I want to bring it up. So one of the guys on the FOH forum, which I love to visit because I think it's one of the best places for information on the web about Cuban cigars. One of the folks who post there called Rhino posted a topic called, "Do you view your current aged cigar purchases as an investment?" And he says, "I have a bit of a personal unicorn cigar. I've smoked one in my life and it remains superlative. Perhaps it was the moment, perhaps the weather, perhaps just that stick, whatever it may be. I recently had an opportunity to purchase a partial cab. I hesitated due to price, but I bought it. While I do the occasional trade, I've never sold. It's just not my thing. I can afford the asking price, but it still seemed like too much, even though it was the going rate. These are just cigars, but something I burn. But this box got me thinking, are folks buying rarer boxes these days, like on Bon Roberts, that they enjoy and perhaps also as investments? Do you buy them just to smoke? Do you buy them to sell? And do you look at your collection as something that is an investment that you'd be willing to sell on Bon Roberts?
I would like to know what cigar he's referring to.
That's a good question. I don't think he named it.
Does he mention it?
No.
Okay.
So I have conflicting views on this. Certainly, given the latest increases in Habano's price, that factors in. But Rooster, what's your opinion on it?
No, I don't think cigars are an investment. The cigars are supposed to be smoked and shared. They're not an investment. You don't buy a box thinking that you're going to sell it in like 5 years or 10 years or more. You buy a box because you're going to enjoy them, and you buy boxes of cigars that you like. So if you do buy an aged box and you don't like it, yeah, you can sell it. But I mean, I don't buy any boxes for an investment purpose. If the price goes up, it goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But that means I'm going to have to pay that much more if
To
I'm
get
going to
another box.
buy another box.
Right.
So I'm
What-
glad that I got the box when I did.
So,
Right.
so I want to split this into two categories based on what you just said. For me, the way I'm looking at some of my stock that maybe isn't hitting my palate the way I've wanted it to with time, or it's increased in value 4, 5, 6, 7x what I purchased it for. The way I'm looking at it is there's two factors. Some of the stuff that really is some of the special stock I have, the Vegas Robina Classicos, aged Upmann 2s, aged Sir Winstons, aged Lusitanias, even my collection of Lusitanias that are young that I'm going to age. Those I don't look at as investments.
The massive collection of Lucy's that you have.
But some of them I am kind of looking at like, wow, okay, what could I do with the dollar value that these things are going for that they're not talking to me anymore? What could I buy that is?
Now, I know which one's not talking to you, and it's a crime. It's a crime.
I have a hard time with this. So
Yeah. I mean,
there's two questions here for me. Are cigars an investment? I think now the answer is yes. They're something that continues to appreciate in value and therefore should be looked at as an investment. However, and I say this like I'm going to draw a lot of parallels to watches. I'm a big watch guy. It's the same thing. However, I personally and philosophically, if you're in this hobby, if you have a passion for this, I dislike and have a hard time with people flipping cigars for profit. Like, you should buy them if you want to smoke them. Maybe they fall out of favor, sell them to a buddy. I will never be able to or have a desire to purchase a box, wait for it to increase fivefold, and then try to sell it and turn a profit. For some reason, there's something about that for me can compromise this hobby.
I think everybody in the room, let me
Well-
just say, I think everybody in the room agrees with you on that.
yeah.
I think there's an ickiness to
But-
purchasing a box for the purpose of
But
flipping
hold
it.
on.
Right.
There are circumstances that change what he just said. Like you as an example. I know there's a Vitola and a Marca that you're,
You can call it out.
that's a Fundadoris.
Trinidad.
Yeah. So if you have a Marca that's accelerated in value and it's not hitting you in the sweet spot, then that could be considered an investment
Yeah.
because the value has increased as you've held it and you don't want the cigar anymore.
Well, yeah, well, that's right. They're all an investment at this point. I mean, this is like so analogous to watches, right? Like there was a period in time where where you could buy a Rolex or any fancy brand, and they actually were relatively cheap, and they were not appreciating at any aggressive rate. And so there was no opportunity to flip this whole like flippers now in the watch market. That didn't exist decades ago.
Yeah.
The same thing in cigars. Like you were able to buy Cuban cigars at a relatively cheap price. You were not making 4x what you paid. That was not a thing in Cuban cigars.
Until 2 years ago.
Only recently. And similar to watches in the last, 10, 20 years, it's 10 years really, it's like exploded. So it's definitely an investment. I don't think there's any dispute there.
I
just
agree.
have a hard time with that, doing this for that purpose.
And what Rooster said earlier, I think hits the nail on the head. It's unfortunate that the prices of Cuban cigars have gone up so exponentially, because I think it's making a lot of people think this way, where I do have an investment, let me make some money on it. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't be that way.
I think
just in the Habanos.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's a conversation of what it could be and what it should be. It could be an investment, especially in these kind of somewhat precarious times where you have these secondary and tertiary markets that are just, there's the cigar consumer base I would argue has grown, and there's a lot more entries. There's a lot more people that are, looking for specific cigars.
And the supply has dwindled.
So at this point, it could be an investment, and you could, make some projections about where, consumption is going to be and also inventory is going to be, and then try to calibrate, hey, this is a good investment. But I think what we ground ourselves in is enjoying the cigars for what it's worth. And it is literally, it's plants.
It's rolled tobacco leaves.
It's rolled plant leaves that comes from the ground.
Yeah.
And it is meant to be smoked. It's just like wine. It's meant to be drunk. And I would argue it's a question of could or should. Yeah, if I wouldn't hold anything past somebody for having a box of cigars that is in tremendously high demand. And you could turn a profit from it. I would never judge somebody for doing that.
You wouldn't begrudge anyone. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
However, cigars should be consumed and enjoyed, and if you're going to age it, you're aging it so that you could eventually smoke it.
Well, like the cigar that we're holding right now, that's 8 years old.
This cigar is a $50 or $60 cigar.
That's awesome.
So let me make a point.
I mean, honestly, with this factory code, it's $50.
And if you had 5 boxes of these that are 8 years old, I know you are not selling these cigars.
All right, so let me draw a line again. My point is that when I look at my investment, my tower, whatever you want to call it, in cigars, I'm not looking at everything with dollar signs.
No,
like romantic.
No.
What's the Donald Duck guy who's obsessed with money? Like I'm not thinking like that.
Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck. I'm not Scrooge McDuck. What I'm looking at are the cigars that aren't serving me, that very well may be serving other people. There's nothing wrong with them. It just doesn't hit my palate at $100, $120 a stick.
Yeah.
That cigar to me, versus when I purchased it for a fifth of the price several years ago, that to me is an opportunity to maybe bring something into my tower to replace that box that is going to be aligned with my palate.
Well, totally. I think people should manage their collections. It's a collecting hobby. It's like you're collecting things. And I think that if there are things that are in your humidor that, maybe don't float your boat, that you thought maybe that they would in the future, and it's not your thing. I mean, think about it. Not everybody loves an LGO number 2.
LGC MDO number 2.
Not everybody loves the Gloria Cabana number 2. I mean,
Who's that?
Yeah.
No,
Rob Isla.
Rob
Really?
Isla.
He doesn't
Is
love
that
that
right?
cigar. Yeah.
He doesn't love that cigar.
Wow.
I'm just saying it's not like universally every premium cigar that's perceived as a high price cigar that everybody loves. It's just not. Everyone has their own taste. You take a flyer in a box and maybe there's something in your humidor. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with selling it and flipping it. It's not something that I do. I mean, I'm more into like sharing cigars and having experience.
Totally. I think
I just
Senator's
want to
point
pick up on that. So like I have such a hard time with this. I don't judge people can do whatever they want, right? Like everybody has if you want to sell something and make a profit off it, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something like, I guess the question I would ask, how many people here have actually ever sold and profited off of a box of cigars?
Not me.
Not me.
Right. So I have not.
Rooster
So
has.
1 or 2.
Yeah.
I haven't, and it's not that I can't. Like, I have the same fundies you have that are worth way more than we bought them for.
Same here.
I have plenty of things that fall into that category. 898s that I bought at a great price that are worth much more. So many things.
So many
But
things.
there is something and it's the same thing with watches. And people are like, oh, are you ever going to sell? Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, for me, the moment I sell something that I consider like a passion and a hobby for a profit, then it becomes like it's just this mental thing. It becomes like a business.
It's such a great
and I don't
point.
want it to be that way. And so I intentionally don't. Even if a cigar is not serving me for some reason, like the only cigar in my lifetime I have ever sold, and I didn't even do it. I gave it to Gizmo, and it's because
Of course he did.
What else is new, Ben?
No, but listen,
What
to
else
this.
is new?
I'm right there with him.
And it's because
The R&J Churchill?
It's because I hate this marca
Yeah.
so much. It was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
R&J Churchill,
Right,
and I finally just said, "Fuck the rest of these cigars." And Giz sold them, and he sold some himself, and we got rid of them.
Yeah.
But
Right.
outside, and I felt good doing it because I felt so burned by R&J. It's like I fucking sourced a 2018 box with a Partagas factory code. They look beautiful, and they couldn't smoke at all.
But there are people that love that
There
cigar.
are, and
Yeah,
so great
they
for
love
them.
it.
Yeah,
Let them buy them and fight with that cigar.
The utility of what you're describing, I think, makes sense for someone that has a box of cigars that doesn't make sense for
I
them
know, but
any
my point
longer.
is I just have a hard time doing that regularly or really with any, like, I will probably never sell another, even if I don't like something, I would rather just give it away to someone who does or revisit it in a few years. There's some philosophical barrier for me where, like, I have things that are for business purposes that I actively seek a profit in, and this is such a hobby and a passion, the same way watches
This
or
is a
other random
lifestyle.
things.
Let's
A
even
lifestyle.
double down.
And
It's a
so
lifestyle.
It
This
is,
thing
and
of
I
ours
just
is a big
it
part
like
of our lives.
crosses it just crosses a line for me that makes it something I don't ever want it to be. That's my
No,
my piece.
I just want to echo that sentiment that Senator eloquently kind of laid out. Is that, you know, the when you love something this much, it just kind of hurts it kind of grinds your gears to view the other people in the market as like Amazon resellers. Like, that's not why we're here. We're not here to scour the market and find the right distributor at the right price. We're here to find the right distributor at the right price so that we can smoke it and then keep it for ourselves and share it with our friends. And I think that kind of goes to the reason why we're here, the reason why we have the podcast, the reason why we love this so much, and the reason why Gizmo mentions it as a lifestyle is because it is, it's something all of us essentially do every day.
So-
and we fit it into our daily agenda for a reason. And to have all of us I think it's indicative of the right reasons to be in the hobby versus the wrong reasons.
I agree with you. So the thing I want to say too is that I agree with everything you guys said. So when I'm looking at a box that's not serving me and transacting it in some way, it's really for the purpose of acquiring a box to replace it that does serve me. So if I'm able to sell a box of Trinidad Fundadores and pull in a box of Cohiba Lanceros or something that really is serving my palate and really serves me as a smoker and serves my enjoyment of the hobby, I'm not a guy buying boxes to flip them. I'm buying boxes to have them. And if they don't work, I'm happy that maybe there's somebody out there that I can transact with that will appreciate them. And I
Or-
can take that and purchase something else.
Or someone in the room.
No, but like I said, I would never begrudge somebody for committing to the capitalist, agenda here, because it's like, if there's a market for it and you want to help somebody else, or that other person has a demand and you have the supply, why not make that trade?
And to your point, and to both of your points, let's merge them. I don't think what I'm saying or doing, let's say if I do sell a box of Fundadores that doesn't work for me or I don't want, I don't think that I'm necessarily offending our lifestyle
No.
or the choices that we make. I don't think I'm turning it into this capitalist business endeavor by saying, I have a box, I don't want to smoke, it's worth a lot,
Dude,
I can do something
It's
with it.
the whole, but that's guys. It's the whole way we actually transact with people.
100%.
It's
So
true, but
it's totally fine.
there is something to what
There's nothing
Senator is
wrong with-
saying. There's like a purity to buying a cigar, holding on to it. You made an effort to buy it. it's in this thing of ours where we're spending a lot of time with it. There's something to that.
Like
as
I
well.
want to say, look, everything Giz is saying makes perfect sense.
It does
Like,
make sense. No, it does.
I need to be coached to get to a place where a cigar that's not serving me that I would make 3 times what I pay.
I've coached
Like,
myself.
of course, I should sell
You
it.
have.
Like, of course, that is the rational thing to do. But when you said like there's a purity, like for whatever reason, I'm just a purist about certain things.
Yeah.
And it's hobbies, and for me, hobbies are not for
But there are so
profit,
many
for my
cigars.
personal
He's
There
profit.
are,
right.
but hold on. There are so many cigars that we've enjoyed that we would have not enjoyed had these transactions not existed.
I was
you
just
mean
gonna-
like the one we're smoking right now?
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean, to Puba's point, and to,
Like
to
I
your-
could have sold these for fucking. If I put these up on our group, forget it.
Yeah.
They
They'd
would have
be-
sold in 5 minutes.
They'd be
But he
gone.
wouldn't.
Of course.
He wouldn't.
He
And that's
No,
wouldn't.
he
I would
wouldn't.
never do it.
He wouldn't do it.
But I'm saying I only want to sell stuff that isn't speaking to me. I'm not looking at my collection of cigars I love going, wow, there's really cash there. It's just cigars that don't work for me.
Now,
know?
here's a question. The Fundy is a celebrated cigar. It's a luxury item. Why not hold on to them?
Because
For the just for
see
the
how
sake
they
of
develop.
yeah, for the sake of time. They're a coveted mark, a
What do
coveted
you
cigar.
think? It's what everybody does.
No, I know,
I'm
I
holding
know.
on to all kinds of shit.
I know you are. I know.
So is everybody else.
Yeah.
I mean, you just.
But I
hold
will
on
take a
to-
lizard discount on those
I'm
Fundies.
I'm
What
also
do you,
just
what do
going
you
to say
think's
one
happening
thing.
right now? You think I'm not holding on? We're
I'm
not
gonna-
holding on.
I'm going to say
We're holding
one-
on right now. This is what it's holding on's about.
I'm going to say one thing,
true.
and now I'm putting the full on like business
Uh-oh.
capitalist hat on.
Senator's hat's on right now.
Hat's
Pipe
on.
down, everybody.
The hat's
he's got his
on.
quarter zip.
And what I'm about to say is if I only knew Rooster years ago or anyone who's bought watches like I do. So if you're putting the capitalist hat on and you're saying, well, okay, these are not serving me, so I would actually make a nice profit right now and I can put that towards something else. Guess what? And especially now, Habanos is explicitly trying to make Cuban cigars into a luxury good, and they have succeeded right now. We can't deny that.
Especially Cohiba and Trinidad.
Right. We can't
Yep.
deny that. They have succeeded right now. Odds are that cigar is going to be worth, if you actually held it like I'm suggesting,
Big time.
for another 5 years, going to be worth even more.
But hold
He's
on.
right.
Okay.
like
but
significantly
he's not
more
wrong.
potentially.
But what I would transact a box of Trinidad Fundadores for and buy a box of Cohiba Lancero,
It's like
it's
a par-
parity, but there's
it's a
parity.
parallel-
you
well,
may
there's
be able
parity.
to buy.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
point is, you may be able to buy 2 boxes of Cohiba. You
The
don't know where
price
the
is not
market's
going down,
you-
Senator.
everything you're saying, Rooster and I have chatted about watches, and Rooster had a very nice
The thing
Rolex
about a
at one
watch,
point.
though, is it doesn't
he-
disappear once you use it.
That's
It doesn't
true.
Once I
matter,
smoke
the-
a cigar, it's gone. The watch you can hand down to your great grandchildren.
Everything you're saying is exactly why I thought that cigars would never be in the place they are, and yet here we are.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, and look at the conversation.
I
it's
agree with you,
generating.
but somehow here we are.
Yeah.
So I just can't accept, like, my own logic has not followed where I thought we could never be in this place. I can't sit here and say, well, we've reached the limit. It can't possibly get much worse. It sure as hell can.
It will. I think it will.
But you know what? Out of
It's true.
your tower, everything that you have, how many actual boxes would you be willing to sell?
Probably 4.
Mm.
And my
Fundies
simple
and-
point to you, Giz, is I guarantee you should be in no rush. If
I am
you-
in no rush.
So here we go.
I didn't prompt it. You
So-
know, I saw this and I was
Right.
like, this is an
So
interesting.
my point is, what you want to
thought.
do in any product like this, you want to hold that as long as humanly possible because it's only going to increase in value. The question is simply how much it's going to increase in value. But there's no universe in which 10 years from now, those exact fundies we're talking about that now will have 10 extra years of
Sure.
age on them are going to go for any
know what?
less than right now.
I'll be.
And so I would just, my advice would be, if that's the route you're going to go, there's no rush. Hold it. You're going to actually make more. if
This
you
is
wait.
kind of like an atonement moment for him. It is. I'll be at your doorstep tomorrow with a bankroll.
I'll see you in 10 years.
You got it. No, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
My advisor just told me to wait.
Yeah. Fuck the advisor.
You know, his door is always unlocked.
It's true.
You can
Yeah,
just
you can always
walk
come in.
This is true.
Just kiss my dog. You're
That's
good.
why I love him.
You're good.
Yep.
So, boys, we're coming to the last third here of the H. Upmann Connoisseur A.
It's exceptional.
Lub 15.
Exceptional.
It's exceptional.
It really is.
I wish I had 1,000 of these cigars.
Me too.
I would sell some Fundadores to get some more of these.
Yeah.
I'll buy from a third party reseller
Ooh,
just
there
to
you
get
go.
some more of these.
Yeah.
You know what I like about it is that it builds, right?
Bro,
It's
yeah.
exceptional. Exceptional cigar.
Builds in strength.
Yeah.
It does.
And the pairing is great.
I will say I'm just really glad we did this in that I think we've said many times, Pooh and I have very, very, very similar cigar palates.
Yeah.
And this was the one cigar that I thought you and I would never see eye to eye on because my experience, even with a Connie A with like 4 years of age, has not been a good one. I now get it.
Yeah.
I now
Honestly,
get it.
a lot of you have underrated this Connier for a while.
But that's because they don't
smoke
smoke
great
well
young.
They need this
And
much age.
it's
on it.
not even that. It's not
I
even-
was never on the same page with you. I wasn't ever on the same page.
I know, but my problem is it's not that they're not great young and they're good. I actually think they're bad young, and they just have to. You can't look at them for at least 5-6 years,
Oof.
Yeah.
and that's a
Wow.
long
And
time
I'm-
to wait.
Yeah. I'm starting to feel like that with the Upmann 2. We've talked about that. I feel like the Upmann 2 needs 4 years, 5 years to really get into a point where they're,
I don't
you know,
know.
it's shocking to me that Cigar Aficionado named that the cigar of the year as a
It's-
young cigar.
Yeah.
It needs time.
It's not, but what you guys are saying is not hyperbolic. It's fact.
It's also the box
It's not.
code.
But what you're saying though is like not. To me, is fact. This is true. This is true. This cigar young is not the same cigar with age. Period. Hard stop. Same with the Upmann 2. It's actually documented. I mean, it's documented that these cigars really, they become something very, very, very special.
Like we
with
said
age on
before,
it,
most
it becomes
Upmanns-
very special. Yeah, well, yes, yeah. The
Look,
Sir
pretty
Winston,
much.
the Sir Winston 2 rooster.
Hold on.
They something about them. They just need that time. But when they hit that stride, they are wonderful.
You know, I have 3-year-old Conniers
it's the
and
truth.
3-year-old
It's
Upmann 2s, and they are, for me, delicious, and I covet those, and I keep them. I don't want to touch them. For me, the threshold for me is 3 years.
But how do you like
That's
this?
me.
Do you like
That's
this
me.
one better?
Oh, of course. This is better than any Connier I have in my tower right
It's a
now.
lot of complexity in
Of
this
course.
cigar.
Yeah, of course. They're
It's-
good at 3. They're exceptional at 8. I mean, it's extraordinary.
Then yeah, you must have lucked out with just a really good box.
I'm
'Cause
gonna
Giz and I
share-
have bought ones with 4 years of age
No,
at this
I'll
point, and they're
share-
not great.
I will share the box that I have. I really love them.
I had a Connie just about 2 days ago, and I wasn't thrilled with it.
What was the box code?
Or the date.
I threw the box
date.
away. I have
The
no
date,
idea.
okay.
But it's not like 2014 or 15. It had to
Mm.
be like 18, maybe 2018,
Oh,
19.
geez.
Yeah.
It's older than what I have.
My 19s are just not.
19.
Yeah.
I haven't
don't
I haven't
like
reached
them.
for them in a while.
Me
Wow.
neither.
I have a box of Lub 14s that I haven't touched. So this is making me want to
what
touch
Love
them.
14 Conniers?
Yeah, baby.
Well,
Oh.
I
Hold
expect.
on.
I
Here we go.
expect a
Hold on.
wait,
Hold on.
So hold on.
Time out. Time
So
out.
so
Can we have an
so I just
accountability
brought
hour?
my
Oh,
last.
I love
Senator-
these accountability
Senator,
my
please.
hours.
God.
Now.
Can we have an
Senator,
accountability hour?
bring it. Accountability
Can we have
hour.
an
I love
accountability
these.
hour?
Yes.
So
It's
Gizmo, I'm going to ask
listen,
you.
It's that secondary market.
I'm going to ask you a series of no more than 3 questions.
Fuck this.
No
man.
more than 3
All right,
questions.
hold on,
I
hold
just
on.
need you to answer each
I need
one.
you to pause 1 second. Grinder, can I retain you as my attorney?
No.
No.
He's my attorney.
I don't know where this is going, so I'm not willing to commit just yet as a client.
Yeah,
to take
he's
you
got to
on.
preview it.
But
right,
let me
so
let me.
you're
let
out
me-
on the Lub 14 Connie
No,
A's.
no. Let me just steadfast. Let's just hear where this is going, and then I'll probably jump in.
Okay, go ahead. Talk to my counsel. Go ahead, Senator.
So I just need to understand 3 things. Number 1, did you purchase this box of Lub 14 Conniers before or after the 2019 ones that we hated?
After.
Mm.
Why? If you hated them and we were saying we don't like Conniers, why did you buy them?
Because I got a great price and my compadre over here, Puba, said that they're amazing.
And you've tried not a single one.
Not a single one.
Wow. That's discipline. That is Amazing.
I haven't touched them.
Wow.
You know why?
well-
Because I wanted them to acclimate to my tower.
How long have you had them?
Yeah.
2014.
6 weeks.
6
8 weeks.
weeks.
Oh, you
just
just
got 'em.
recently
so
got
they're
them.
new.
Okay, I thought you got these a while ago. Then
No,
I'm not
just got 'em.
concerned. If you would have gotten those shortly after we had such a bad experience, I was worried we had a secret flipper on our hands here.
Yeah.
By the way, Grinder, I don't need your services.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Puba, that one of those is yours for sure. Maybe 2. Bam gets none.
What? That's not fucking fair. I know you love me. I'll get one.
Boys, this pairing tonight is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I am really enjoying the cigar and the rum.
I can't wait for the rating because it's going to be crazy.
And that
Yeah.
makes me happy because I think the cigar has merit. I think it has merit with
It has more than merit. This is a spectacular cigar, Puba.
yeah, I believe it is. So
I'll be honest, I wish it was an inch and a half longer than it is, because we're just about an hour. Like, I'm almost done with it. I really wish that I can get an hour 45 out of it.
You know where you get the additional experience, and Grinder will attest to this. It's from beginning of this cigar to where I am now, I've consistently retrohaled. I think if you continue to do that during your smoking experience, it enhances the experience. And I think it extends it a little bit.
So what do you guys get out of the retro now in the last third versus
I'll let Grinder
like
answer
normally
first.
drawing it? Like, what's the difference in the
Well,
two?
I think when I was first retrohaling, I was getting, those baking spices.
Mhm.
The retrohale has definitely turned more peppery.
For me, it's I get more espresso and coffee in the retro than I get pepper. I haven't gotten any pepper on this. No rough edges at all.
No, let me
None.
qualify that statement a little bit. I don't get it when on the aroma. I don't get it in my palate. There's no pepper on my palate. I only get it with that retrohale, and I get that with other cigars when I retrohale. And it's not unpleasant. It's just different. There's still those spices there. It's there's just more black pepper.
A few things just about the flavor notes and kind of the experience all the way through. The cigar, I think a lot of us said starts kind of mild. I think in the final third, it's firmly medium. I think it is a one-act play in that the notes are very consistent throughout. And I don't say that as a bad thing. I'm someone who consistently says if I like the flavor notes, I love a one-act play. It doesn't have to dramatically shift or change. The only thing I will say, in terms of the flavor notes, there's not a significant level of complexity to this cigar. Like, there are certain dessert flavors that you get, and you get those all the way through. I'm not getting any unique flavors that are outside of the bounds of the traditional dessert flavors that you would get from Upmann. So if there's one knock, it's not an overly complex cigar, but it is excellent, and I'm enjoying every bit of it.
Rooster, how about you?
Yeah, I'm getting, like initially it was a lot of cedar and creaminess and baking spices, and that's kind of it's built as you smoke the cigar. Like, those flavors have gotten more concentrated till now. So I'm really enjoying it.
I'm
Excellent.
enjoying it too. I agree. I think that there's a concentration. I like it. I like the fact that it builds. There was a gradual build kind of in the concentration of flavor. Like, it kind of just slowly, very, very gradually builds in a little bit of strength. It builds in a little bit of body towards the end, and in a good way, in like a really, really good way. So I like it. I mean, I like the cigar a lot. So for me, it's been really pleasurable. I think it exemplifies the Upmann brand in a really, really positive way. And it's nice. I mean, it's just, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Other than the Sir Winston, what is your favorite Upmann cigar?
The two.
Number 2, right?
Same.
Me
Yeah.
too.
The two.
Yeah,
It's
the two.
amazing.
The Sir Winston's number 1 for me by far. The 2 is right behind it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I think that I
But
think
how
the
do
Sir
you
Winston might be-
compare tonight's experience with that 8-year-old cigar that you're holding right now?
I mean, this
I mean-
cigar's incredible, but, and we'll go through it in the ratings. I'm curious how this is going to land. I'm still going to put the Sir Winston and the Upmann 2, especially the Lub 14. They do edge this out for me.
I
Well,
agree with
yeah,
Yeah.
They edge
they
it out.
do. But where, you know, but
You're
And that's
split-
not a knock.
No, it's not. But you're
It's just we're comparing a cigar to something that, like the Upmann 2 from Lub 14, the Sir Winston at 5+ years, let's call it. I mean, you're comparing that cigar to God level cigars, to Robania Classico 11 cigars. I mean, God level cigars. So it's a tough comparison for really almost anything else.
Yeah.
It is and it isn't, though, because the reverse of this, if you think about this a different way, of those 3 cigars, which would you pursue young? Whether you're going to smoke them young or you're going to hold them and age them, you're probably going to have the same answer.
Absolutely, you're correct.
That's true.
That's true. 100% true. I mean, I know that I've seen some folks that have smoked young Sir Winstons from 21 and 20, and they've performed brilliantly for
Well,
them.
I
I
had
haven't done that.
I had a
But
young
you,
in Cuba.
in Cuba, you had a phenomenal experience
It
with a young
Blew me away.
Sir
It
Winston.
totally blew me away.
Yeah.
But this is better tonight.
And with that being said, the Upmann 2 young is not working for me
No,
compared to something that's 4 or 5 years old.
I don't think it works for any of
But
us.
I'd
no.
still take a young Upmann 2 over a young Connier.
I agree with you on that.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Whether you
Oh,
look at
sure.
it from
You're-
the age perspective or the young perspective,
true.
the order is the same for me, at least. And
That's
I agree
true.
with you.
This is
I
true.
agree with you.
oh yeah,
But we're
yeah.
focusing on tonight and what we're having right now. And this, I can't stop retrohaling this cigar. I just can't.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And when you have that kind of experience where you're constantly retrohaling, it just enhances the experience, man.
All right, boys, are you guys ready to do the formal liquor rating on the Foursquare Exceptional Cask Single Barrel Rum from 2010? Bam,
Yes.
bam, you're up.
So I am between a 9 and a 10. I will give this a 9. I think you mentioned earlier, and a year plus ago when we had the spirit, we talked about how amazing it was during the holidays, the spices that it has. It's appropriate for any time of the year. It's a grand, excellent, delicious rum. 9
All right,
for me.
Grinder. Uh-oh.
I
Oh,
feel like
Hold on. Let me say that
You
again.
gotta turn off his
Let me
mic.
say that again. Uh-oh.
I feel like you guys are gonna hate me because I'm gonna tank the
Oh,
rating
no.
here.
What the heck?
I mean, I enjoy drinking rum. I don't enjoy drinking this kind of rum that has, it was a little too much for me. Now, having said that, it was, you find the deliciousness still there. It's not disavowed, and I wouldn't totally tank it for that reason. So for me, it's a 7.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
that breaks my heart. Senator.
I need a refill. Okay.
Okay.
For me, it's an excellent rum. A true high quality Caribbean rum, like in its truest sense. And I say that because Cuban rum is very much an outlier in a great way, in its own unique way. I give it a 9. I genuinely do wish that Foursquare would come out with something lower proof that is a bit less aggressive. And if they could make it as enjoyable, where I don't need I put a lot of ice into this,
Mhm.
more ice, honestly, than I've ever put in any spirit. And that's what precludes it from being a 10 for me. But the flavor it imparts, I love the funky finish. And it worked really well with this cigar.
We got to coin that phrase. Funky finish. I like that.
So many applications.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So for me, this is a no-brainer from the first sip to right now to when I have it at the holidays. It's a 10.
Nice.
I mean,
Very nice.
it's, to me, no question. We've had, what was the rum we did? The Santiago 20?
Yeah.
It's right there with that.
Yeah.
This is a rum.
But hold on. You don't need ice with that.
But this is a rum that I can go to my store and buy. I enjoy it
Yeah.
so much. I covet this bottle of rum
It's
at
fucking
home.
delicious. It's
I wish I
delicious.
had 100 of them.
Yeah.
It's a 10 for me.
Yeah.
This
Wow.
absolutely suits my palate. I love this rum.
Santiago
How
20.
often do you drink this?
Awesome.
Quite a bit.
Nice.
When?
Well, listen,
At
I just don't
home,
send you the pictures.
I mean,
He's pining in this
He
lounge
never
at
even
home.
brings this into the lounge.
Listen, of course I don't, because I have like 3 bottles of it.
Only.
Puba.
I love Foursquare. It's a 10. I think it's the best. It exemplifies Barbados rum. They are the premier distiller of Barbados rum. That's in period. It's 4 generations. They're doing it in a way that's more unique than anybody else does it. They take care. They only do it in small batches. It's a fantastic spirit. It's a fantastic spirit done in a way with a lot of care. It's a craft spirit
with no additives.
no, right. And like that's why you can't get the same bottle.
Yep.
They only do whatever it is, 30,000 cases at a time. So for me, it's a 10.
So, Bam, I want to point out,
Yeah.
by the way, that I think I have broken the Senator Puba alignment. Now, Puba and I are aligned.
I see that.
You see that?
Uh-oh.
You see that?
Oh, yeah.
I think Senator's out.
Senator's on the outs.
Senator might
Well,
be
no,
out.
no,
He's on the outs.
I think you missed the boat. We're talking about cigars. We're aligned.
Yeah. Well, no.
The next rating.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, we'll
no,
see how
it's
that goes.
Well, is it a little high proof? Like, do I need all?
Listen, don't defend Senator.
I hear you, but for me, this exemplifies
I love
something
that it's,
that's really
I love that
fantastic.
it's higher proof with a little bit of ice. It's an excellent experience.
Listen, just
I like
Senator's
it a lot.
out. Let's just enjoy that
All
for
right.
a moment.
2 10s, 2 9s, and a 7.
Gizmo, A+ for effort.
The former liquor rating boys on the Foursquare exceptional cask single barrel rum is a 9.0.
Excellent. That's
90.
That's an excellent score.
Excellent score. Should be higher, but grinder,
The,
so be it.
the composite score never lies.
You know, you didn't
It's
turn
a
up
great score.
because you know that
is,
happened
honestly.
because you didn't turn off his mic.
I should have.
Yeah.
I really should have.
No. His rating was very useful for this.
Oh. Are you
9
saying
is a fair score.
Are you saying it hedged Puba and,
Yes.
and Mike?
Listen,
Yes.
Senator,
Wow.
it's a great rum as the composite lizard score demonstrates.
It always does.
I don't want to ever drink this again.
What?
So like, yeah, I mean,
And
He
it's
doesn't
not-
like rum.
it's not
but
something
he
I pull
does
for.
drink rum occasionally. So like, the
but when I
point is,
do, it's never going to
it's
be
not
this
like
one.
that. That's my point.
So it's Puba and me versus Grinder and Senator. Bam, are you taking
What
notes?
do you mean verses?
I'm
There's
noted.
no verses.
I am.
All right,
noted.
I have a new proposal. Clearly, Gizmo needs to work in the news media. He's all about dividing the lizards
I-
tonight.
By
He's
the
a
way,
propagandist, is
Very
what
by
he
the way,
is.
can I also let the lizard record reflect the fact that I didn't like this the first fucking time I had it.
That's true.
So like,
What was his rating? Can you look?
we
that
didn't
up?
have
We
a
didn't
rating.
do one. We
Oh,
didn't do
that's
them
right.
then.
We
Yeah.
never rated it.
Yeah.
Did
Did
Yeah.
you
only
try
reason-
the
I
Santiago
think,
20?
I think
He
that
did not.
He would love that.
He did not.
He would
try
love
it.
that.
He would love that
Yeah.
because that's the
Absolutely
true
love
10.
that.
Yeah, it's a true 10.
Wow.
That's an 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. On to the cigar boys.
Okay.
Let's give the formal lizard rating to the H. Upmann Connoisseur A. Rooster, you're up.
Yeah. So for me, this is it's a 9 because I think if the same box code for a Sir Winston came up, or the Lub 14 Upmann 2, that would be a 10. So this is, I mean, I would like to give it a little bit higher than a 9, but it's a 9 for me.
Okay. Puba.
yeah, it's a 9 for me.
9 for me as well. 10 is Upmann 2 or Sir Winston, same as Rooster. Absolutely a 9. Senator.
As I said, you missed the boat, Gizmo. It's a 9 for me. Puba and I are perfectly aligned yet again.
Listen, I enjoyed my moment. Grinder.
It's also a 9 for me.
Okay. Bam Bam.
Taking our last draw here.
Don't burn your fingers.
You're gonna get burned there, buddy.
I don't know how you're giving.
You got to give it a 10 because you're
Yeah.
giving like
I'm
like
disappointed.
Dominican
Honestly, I'm
Lanceros
a little
11s.
disappointed. I am gonna. You know, I haven't had many cigars that I've retrohaled from beginning to end, so I have to give this a 10. For what it is tonight, the experience tonight, the way it's smoked, it was an incredible cigar.
It is.
10.
All right. So the formal lizard rating doesn't lie, boys. It's a 9.2.
Fuck me, that's a great score.
There you go. There you go.
That's a great score for this cigar. I mean, a Lub
It is.
15. I think a 92 is
Well
perfect.
deserved.
You know, you compare that to the Upmann 2 I mean, what was that, a 97, 98? I mean, it's perfectly in line of
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
performed tonight.
Totally.
I can't stop, I
was
can't
a
stop
good,
smoking the cigar.
it's well, I thought it was cool to have the exploration to kind of like, I'm not saying that this was a polarizing smoke, but it's like a smoke that I've always liked.
It was before this.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
true.
I'll be honest, I
Among
actively,
this
I
group,
hated it before this.
So
Yeah,
Puba, he's right. So this whole months and months have gone by, and I've always loved this cigar, and I've never had any negative thoughts about it. You guys all know that I've talked about it from time to time. I kind of got piped down. That's fine. It's got much more merit than I think.
Listen,
we
the
ever
senator
thought
was
it would.
texting me the other day, like, let's get rid of these boxes. How much can we get for them?
I certainly was not. So, but I do.
No,
Nice
but
try.
but I think the
But
point
that's
of
even my
the-
point. The fact that they're still sitting in my tower and I hate them, I just
You're
can't bring
such-
myself to sell
I
them.
want to hear what Puba has to
Well,
say.
no.
Go ahead.
I think that one of the reasons why I wanted to bring these forward was because I wanted to bring them forward so the group could kind of experience the same experience that I had, which was a positive one with this cigar. So yes, it's a fact. It's not hyperbolic to say that Upmann 2s, the Connie A, the larger ring gauge Upmanns just need more time. It's not even debatable. It's documented, like, online. It's documented by people. Like, this is a fact. We've experienced it ourselves. They need more time, but with time, if you're willing to invest that time and buy some boxes and put them away, do it.
Yep.
I mean, and I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying what it is.
Dude, nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's why this is a 10 for me, because it's aged and it's right where it needs to be. It's an exceptional, perfect cigar because of the age.
I think the conversation that we had around the discussion of resellers and aging is perfect for this cigar, because for me, when I get a box of cigars and I know that I have to age them, I just won't. I don't want to buy a new box of cigars and then have it sit. So that is frustrating to me. However, it's just a product of the Cuban market,
Yeah.
because everyone knows that some of these Cuban cigars are better aged. And that's why we have resellers. That's why we are consuming these cigars and buying them from the resellers, right? Because we know, and this is just because, Cuba displaced that aging process, and a lot of the Nicaraguans manufacturers, they have that aging process as part of their production process, right? Because Cuba does this, and we have these cigars, that's why there's this market, right? Because the consumers, they have to actually age them. It's a little frustrating to me when I get at that cigar and I can't immediately smoke it. However, enjoying this tonight, to echo Bam Bam's sentiment, this moment, this is a fucking phenomenal cigar, and you can't debate that. Yes, it is fact.
Yeah.
And you can't duplicate it. You see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. So, okay, it takes X amount of time for this cigar to become what it is, but go try and duplicate it.
Yeah.
Go
It's
try
not
and
happening.
like it's not happening.
No.
Yeah.
Like, go try and duplicate that experience. It's why Cuban tobacco is so special. It's why you chase it. It's why Rob Isla says it's like hitting a drive, like that perfect drive down the fairway. Like,
You chase it.
you chase it. So this is part of that. This cigar is part of that, dovetails into that narrative. That's it. I mean, love it, hate it,
Love it.
love it, whatever it is. I mean, it's just the way it is.
But everything
Yeah.
he's
You know what
everything
I'm
he's
saying?
talking about,
like it's kind of like you either want to chase it, you don't want to chase it. What I would argue is try.
everything he's talking about takes everything that we're talking about, this thing of ours, to a much higher level, and it's akin to that 80th that we had. That senator was aging in his
Put your
tower.
own idiot.
How
Yeah.
old were those? 4 years plus.
No, more than that.
No,
I
more
mean,
than that.
Total 9 years.
So that's
Yeah.
an exceptional experience that most of us won't ever experience again.
Yeah.
And when you're rating a cigar, I'm going to go back to that. At that moment, right now, as you're smoking it, it's got to be an exceptional rating.
I have to tell you, Bam, I really appreciate the continuous allusions to the Costa Nostra here. This thing of ours.
I don't
But
know
it
what-
is. It's like a little
It is,
mafia.
It is.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, when we turn off these mics, we're going to have a whole ritual.
Dude, absolutely.
All right, boys. A fantastic night. A 9.0 for the Foursquare Exceptional Cask Single Barrel Rum, and a 9.2 for the H. Upmann Connoisseur A from Lub 15. H. Upmann Factory. An excellent night. We'll see you all next week.
Keep smoking.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for joining us. You can find our merch store and ratings archive at our brand new website, loungelizardspod.com. That's loungelizardspod.com. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, hello@loungelizardspod.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.